What's good, y'all? Here's the reason why you shouldn't get tempted for the next two banners, and the name is Dalia, Cultist Faction AoE Mage video time before we get into anything else. Alrighty, if anything ever looked like a Queen of Roses, she did. Let's get rid of that beautiful game sound. And alright, so time for a kit review. Actually, in game, I know she's been around, she's been data leaked by Destin, covered by Fastidious and whatnot, but I just wanted to wait until we actually have it in game, can read it through, and just have a look at her kit. So here we go. Release date, as apparently as always already leaked by Destin, is going to be in 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to save for her. That will be your time. She's going to be apparently a limited 250 summon. Let's see how it goes, and obviously as soon as she's available on test server, I'll do in-depth testing, trying to give you the actual answer of if she's worth it, where she's worth it, and especially, can she beat Gear Dungeon 1 or Gear 8-4, however you want to call it. So let's get straight into her kit. We'll obviously start with the talent. And she generates one Cursed Blossom. Cursed Blossom deals 100% damage one time and inflicts a 50% slow for 5 seconds to ground enemies who enter the affected tiles. Inflicts 1 stack of poison for 10 seconds to up to 3 ground enemies on each affected tile every 3 seconds. So poison, magic damage, there you go. Dahlia is the reason why poison got nerfed and changed into neurotoxin for other characters. She has most likely really high stats. Let's have a look at the max level. 4,000. So she's a 4,000 attack unit that can inflict poison. There you go. Poison. So yeah. Alright. Inflict 1 stack of poison for up to 3 ground enemies on each affected tile every 3 seconds. A random tile in every X. In range every X seconds. X is equal to 1.5 attack intervals. Cannot target airborne units. And what the hell is this range? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6 tile diagonal, the 6 tile range? Just 6 front tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, this screams like an absolutely disgusting unit for Gear Dungeon 1, be it for the top side or the bottom side. This seems like the unit to get if you want to get through there. Because just with the talent alone, you're going to be able to do damage against them, slow them down before they while they move, and also poison them already, so the poison can tick while they're still standing. Holy shit, okay. Deals 100% AoE damage to up to 10 enemies. Ridiculous, probably one of the, if not the, most enemies ever going to get hit with a basic attack. Demonic Surge. Every Cursed Blossom ignited increases crit damage by 18% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Going up to 21, 24, 30%. So 30% crit damage stacking up to 3 times, which means 90% crit damage if we trigger 3 Cursed Blossoms within 10 seconds. So generates a Cursed Blossom on a random tile every X seconds, where X is equal to 1.5 times the attack interval. Let's say she will bring her to a normal mage attack interval, which means we'll end up at, let's have a look at her attack interval. What are we dealing with? 3.5. So 3.5 seconds, we'll do around a 50% reduction, which gives us a 1.7 second interval. And half of 1.7 is going to be pretty much 8.5. So 1.7 plus 8.5, 2.55 seconds. Every 2.5 seconds, she's going to place a Cursed Blossom with reasonable attack speed. Okay, yeah, it looks like something pretty easy to stack. Thorns Embrace. If there are at least 2 instances of a Cursed Blossom adjacent to an ally, the ally gains block increase and damage increase. Okay, that is ridiculous. This also opens the door for Magnus technically making a comeback, because if he gets a passive 4 block, or overall it opens the possibilities to run fighters with that Curse Blossom thing, though the question is how reliable it is. The 12% damage increase depends. If you can have a fighter standing and he gets the 12% damage increase, great. But if it's a tank, the 12% damage increase is whatever. So we gotta see what that is going to bring. And then we have the ultimate, Death's Despair. When activated, it increases the hero's damage by 20%, which means a 2 times multiplier, like a 1.2 multiplier. In this case, it's going to be 1.3 with level 3. And during the skill effect, the hero's basic attack prioritizes igniting one existing Curse Blossom with enemies around, dealing 220% AoE damage up to 8 nearby enemies, and inflicting slow and 2 stacks of poison. Again, the poison effect right here, the standard deal 5% continuous magic damage per second. So let's enhance the video right here for all of you. And let's have a closer look at the ultimate and see what we can glean from it. Alright, so it's going to be a bit bigger for you. I'll just have a look here. We have her Curse Blossoms. She does her go around 10-point attack. And then in ultimate, she ignites the Curse Blossoms, which means she normally doesn't ignite them. And apparently stacks them up to most likely her whole attack range, I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, it is a very, very weird range though, because it's right in front of her, and in most cases when you're dealing with a lane, you'll have a range tile here, a range tile here, and a lane going right through it. So we have to see what is happening there. But I think we all got a close look at the ultimate, so let's bring this right down again. Sorry that this takes a bit. There we go. Try to not lose track of the screen. And then we get straight into the awakening. So honestly, so far, she obviously looks pretty impressive, and kind of the same thing with Lust, a unit with very, very unique range. And the important part is, units that have unique ranges always have their places. For example, Valkyra with her 6-tile range being absolutely crucial in the faction trial and in a stage. Lust with her Dolores type range being really, really viable and working together with the Tenant. So units that have a weird range always seem to be a very reliant pick when it comes to who to choose to pull for. Weird range equals good unit. Alright, now the important part, if she is a 250 unit, you do want as many copies as possible of her. But do you? That is the question. Are the awakenings any good? The number of Curse Blossoms required to trigger Thorns Embrace is reduced to 1. So the increased block is now only 1 bloom, which means it's more reliable and easier to trigger. Okay. 300 attack is whatever. The A3 is probably where it's half realistic. Like, A1 is already spicy, A2 is whatever, and A3 is, I guess, the last thing you would call realistic. After that, it's just complete whale territory. Because some people also have Soul Stones, and with Soul Stones, you might be able to get to A3. So A3 deals 25% extra damage to targets inflicted with poison. Okay. Straight up damage buff to targets with poison should be super useful. Cost +2, what a waste. And now the A5 Curse Blossom also inflicts the same amount of damage and slow effect to enemies who leave the affected tile. So 100% damage plus 50% slow for 5 seconds. And then as soon as they leave the tile, they take another 100% damage and get slowed for another 5 seconds. Honestly, she seems like a hero that gets most of her power from her base kit, which is super, super good for a hero that is 250 limited. And yeah, that's been it. As soon as she's unlocked on the test server, I'll test her just for you, and we'll figure out, can she clear Gear Dungeon 1. We see each other in the next one.